Hey everyone. This is probably one of the last vlogs I'm going to make, but I wanted to do a vlog because I wanted to make sure that I was able to get some of my thoughts out the best I could without having to do all that typing because typing is kind of a pain for me. So this vlog really pertains to my returning to work. I've been cleared to go back to work, and I will be starting to work again on September 2nd, which is the day after Labor Day. So in 2 days from now, today is Sunday. Just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a very, very quick rundown, because I'm kind of sick of talking about it, but I think it's important that that if you're watching this, you get a full understanding of why I'm doing these videos and what happened to me. On March 11th, I suffered a number of seizures while I was at work, and as a result of that, I had an anoxic brain injury, or a hypoxic brain injury, which basically means that I was without oxygen for a long enough period of time for it to cause me some brain damage. I wound up with what's called the diffuse acquired brain injury, which in essence means that it's diffuse and that there's different parts of my brain that were affected by this injury. And so if somebody was to have a stroke, it would just primarily be in one spot, but my injury caused me to be have issues in various parts of my brain. So had been going to rehab for 5 months. I did 5 months of rehab, doing an intensive brain injury program at Sacred Heart Rehab in Milwaukee. That is the finest brain injury program, probably one of the finest in the state, and they really helped me a lot. And I was able to get to know some peers who have had strokes and brain injuries, and we've all become very close, and we've shared a lot of the same experiences. So basically, it takes about 2 years for a brain injury to fully heal. Well, not really heal, the brain doesn't heal. Basically, what happens is the brain makes different pathways. So the damaged pathways don't get regenerated. They just kind of go a different way. So it's kind of like a 1950s 1960s telephone switchboard, how there's one person with a bunch of cords plugging into different holes. It's kind of like that. So for my brain, the way that it's being rerouted, I guess, is kind of like taking a process that would go, from A to B. It's more like a A1 goes to A2, goes to A3, goes to A4, and then goes back to A1, and then winds up going to B. So nothing is really a straight pathway in my brain like it used to be, and that causes some problems. The problems that I have are primarily inside my head. However, I do have some problems that are externally identified. I do have some physical disabilities as a result of my brain injury. My left arm, or actually my whole left side, is a little bit debilitated, disabled. I do have some vision changes in my eyes, both of them actually, and my left arm is I have what's called neglect. So I have a hard time using, kind of like remembering to use my left arm, and my left leg is significantly weaker than my right leg is, so I have to wear a brace on that so I don't have any difficulty walking or less difficulty walking. I walk kind of, I walk like I've got a disability, and that's okay. The problem I have is what's going on inside of my brain up in here that nobody else can see but causes me the greatest amount of problems. I have the cognitive issues that I have. I have a problem with some of my thought process, which means sometimes my speech can be slower. My problem solving is a lot slower. It may not be as accurate as it should be. I have a problem with word finding, meaning that sometimes I have a hard time finding the words to express what I want to express. I do have problems with organization, keeping things in linear order. Um, I mean that means a whole bunch of different things there. And then finally, my my attention is pretty crummy. So it is something that I continue to work on, but it is crummy in that I have a hard time maintaining concentration on one thing that causes me to lose my train of thought frequently is because I have that problem. Um, so I am going back to work, like I said, and I'm really nervous about going back to work because certain things are quite a bit different for me with the way my brain works. If you look at me and I'm not walking, I'm sitting down or standing there without my cane, you would think that everything is going okay, when in actuality, what's happening inside of my brain is not visible to everybody else. So what can wind up happening sometimes, unfortunately, is I can wind up appearing inept to do certain tasks or to think about certain things. Um, that's a problem, of course. That's a huge problem that I have to deal with because this is going to affect the way that I work. It affects the way that I've done rehab. It affects the way that I interact with family and friends and do certain things. Um, it's been a huge challenge for me, and I'm afraid going back to work that it's going to cause me more difficulty at work, um, just trying to maintain my job. I think most of the expectation from my superiors and from my peers is that I left work a certain way. On March 11th, I left the institution a certain way, and now 6 months later, I'm coming back a different way. And how that's all going to pan out and how their expectations are, I don't know. But I know that I have to work within the confines of what I have. I am different than I was, but I'm doing the best I can to get into the right mindset of returning to work, and that's pretty much the best thing that I can do. It's a challenge for me to walk some days and to talk and all these other things, but I'm really committed to trying to get this to work. If for some reason my employer does not feel like I'm able to handle my job because of my disabilities, then I'll have to go down a different road at that time. But for right now, I'm glad to be given the opportunity to return to work, and I'm really look forward to continue having um, the ability to show myself my improvements on a daily basis. And life is really good, and I'm very blessed to be able to get to the point where I can go back to work. So this is the end of the video. I did have some, I don't know if you can see them, I did have some notes written down so I don't forget what I wanted to say. But yeah, things are really good now, and I'm really happy and I'm very blessed to be able to live my life again in the way that I can do that the best. So thanks for watching and take care.